This has been the most difficult video I've made so far because Valheim is so good that it put me in a trance and made me forget that I exist. There were multiple sessions where I forgot to take notes, and even worse, there were a couple of times where I completely forgot to hit record in OBS. So what's this game all about? Valheim is a Viking-themed survival game featuring all the standard survival game mechanics like hunger, base building, etc., but there's a twist, and I don't mean the dance your alcoholic aunt does after
2 shots of vodka.
In order to upgrade your arsenal and gain access to better building materials, you have to defeat 6 Norse-themed bosses ranging from angry Christmas decoration to eldritch horror beyond human comprehension. I've only fought the first boss as of right now for reasons I'll get to in a bit, and I gotta be honest, I'm not impressed. The developers really should have modeled this Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer looking head-ass with a padded helmet, because he has the mental capacity of a developmentally disabled child. That's okay though, because you won't be spending a lot of time doing these boss battles since they're so few and far between. And I mean that literally. I've covered more ground than your mother's fupa in search of the second one, and all I found is another location to summon this window licker. While I was exploring, I had the good fortune to stumble upon a copper deposit, but then I got clobbered by a troll. Over and over and over. So I journeyed back to his location with a heart full of vengeance. Nothing short of divine intervention was gonna stop me from killing that piece of shit and turning his scrotum into a war trophy. Okay, so he beat my ass a few more times, but I did eventually kill it, and I noticed something very interesting. The trolls in this game have big noses and they drop coins when they die. What did they mean by this? But speaking of exploration, that leads me into the next thing I want to ramble incoherently about while the 4 people watching this video are sound asleep because they passed out watching another video and this one auto-played.
This is a playable 1980s action movie that gives you the ability to slow down time and jump through the air while painting the walls.
Wandering the map in Valheim is great. The world is procedurally generated like tweets from any given female with an OnlyFans, so there's no cheating. Like any given female with an OnlyFans. You have to find everything yourself. This has the potential to blow harder than Hiroshima in 1945, like I alluded to earlier with that bit about not being able to find the second boss. But it's really fun when you're not looking for anything in particular, because you have no idea what you're going to come across. This is part 1 of what made me forget that I was making a video about this game. Part 2 is the general progression, and this is what really got me addicted. The gameplay loop of harvesting materials to make better tools and then using that upgraded arsenal to make even better equipment tickles my tism in a way that had me forgetting that the real world exists. You learn new recipes after collecting certain resources, then you craft those things and use them to collect new resources that you didn't have the ability to obtain before. That's pretty much the whole gameplay loop. Sounds simple enough on paper, but so does pleasuring a woman, and you haven't figured that one out yet either, have you? The deeper you go, pun intended, the more complicated it gets, and that added complexity keeps things fresh. Last couple things I want to discuss are the combat and base building. Much like a cheap hooker, the combat isn't particularly flashy looking, but it gets the job done. Which is more than I can say about these OnlyFans hoes. The animations are simple, but every enemy has a different attack pattern as well as having different damage resistances and weaknesses. For example, that 20-foot tall gorilla that turned my organs into a slip and slide is weak to piercing damage but resistant to blunt. So arrows do extra damage to trolls, but they can't get high from marijuana. Most of the enemies I've come across so far, though, are like college frat boys. 1 or 2 is harmless, but if you get too many in one place, it's a fucking problem. The base building in Valheim requires you to find certain materials to unlock new recipes, just like the tools and weapons. But this is a part of the game that you can easily lose yourself in. I don't think I'm particularly qualified to speak on this too much, though, because my house looks like this. So let's move on. One more thing I want to say before the video ends. If you've never played this game but you're getting deja vu right now, it's probably because Lego Fortnite ripped off this game like your stepdad tried to rip your dick off after he found you balls deep in his daughter. Epic copied Iron Gate's homework and tried to change it up so they didn't get caught, but the only thing different is the color of the ink. It's literally the exact same game. That's actually not a bad thing though, because you can essentially try Valheim for free. And speaking of free, I'm late for my 5 p.m. burnout in the Wendy's parking lot while blasting Freebird at max volume. So I'll see you all next time.